What's going on, guys? It's the midday. It's been a while, and wanted to talk some Giants football. Let's be honest, what makes you feel better than to talk about the Giants? And these days, you get it's a positive feeling. Nothing's happened yet. We picked up a couple of guys. I like the Jelly kid we picked up from the Baltimore Ravens. One of the, I feel, quieter, better players. I think he will have a lot of playing time on the Giants this year. And I like his ability to stuff the run. And hopefully he could be that run stuffer to rotate with Dexter that allows Leo to once again be able to run freely and rush the passer like 2 years ago when we had Delvin. And I'm not saying he's the caliber of a Delvin, but maybe he could do a little something in that area. There's talk today, and it's a guy that you guys are going to have to start really taking seriously now. Because it sounds like Joe Shane's has him right there at the top of his list. And that's Sauce Gardner. Today's his pro day. He's rated the top corner in the draft, along with Stingley. Stingley's had some injuries. Gardner, I believe, in man-to-man coverage, has not allowed a touchdown in 3 years of college. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe that's the stat I read. Out of Cincinnati, this kid's a lockdown corner. And for Bart Scott, I'm quoting Bart Scott of ESPN Radio in New York, that this kid Garner is a future Revis 2.0. So you're not, listen, he's probably not Darrelle Revis, man. That guy was historic. But for someone to even compare or even put him in the same, sentence as Darrelle Revis, it tells you the type of corner you're getting right here. Joe Shane's at his pro day. Okay, personally, that tells you something. And it's reported that the Giants took him out for dinner last night. They wine and dined the kid. And anybody who knows that when an organization, especially the big organizations, wine and dine someone, they're not there just to have fun or on a vacation. That means business. The Giants are serious about Garner. And I pin him at number 7 for the New York Giants. You could almost lock that up. And some of us might not like that. And a lot of us, including myself, believed we didn't need a corner. Because we drafted a few last year. And we got some young corners on this team that we would like to see developed. Darnay Holmes sort of became forgotten about. Robinson last year, he had an injury, but could be a starting corner for the Giants. All right, you have a few others. Adoree Jackson will be starting on one side. And I believe Adoree Jackson had a really nice year for us last year. It's like this. Sauce is a special player. He's ranked as the top corner in the nation and one of the better corners to come out of college in years. In Wink's defense, I understand that he relies heavily on his corners. And Bradbury will not be a Giant when this season starts. All right, because there are some rumors out there that the Giants have now said they will take on a little bit of Bradbury's salary. And by doing that, it opens up the market. Joe Shane's basically saying, I will swallow a little of his salary in order to get the draft pick I'm looking for. Or, let's meet in the middle. And the middle to me is 3rd or 4th round pick for Bradbury. And one of the teams that just acquired a lot of picks for their trade of Hill yesterday is Kansas City, and they're looking for a corner, especially in that division where the Raiders are, loaded up. Denver brought in Russell, and the Chargers are a team to be reckoned with. So, Kansas City, I could see Bradbury as a landing spot in Kansas City. I think it's a perfect match. Maybe they send us over a third. Maybe we package up a Bradbury and another pick on draft night to get a second or a third from Kansas City. You know what? Although he hasn't been here long and he's just starting, I mean, this guy, Joe Shane and Dabo, have pretty much won me over. I don't want to say completely, but I completely do see what they're doing. There's a plan. They're very competent football guys. You can see it. They're not willing to throw money around and use next year's money in a panic just to be a playoff team this year. The fan base has to understand we're filling in spots with cheap one-year guys. I believe the Giants will compete in football games this year. But, don't go into the season thinking the Giants are winning a division or, we're overdue. I'm sick of losing. Blah, blah. Listen, man. Let the guys build their thing. Okay? You're going into a draft with 2 high picks. And the number one thing Joe Shane's going to do, and it's really, really smart, is the phone lines are going to be open to trading down from both of those picks. And he said that today. So he basically put the league on notice today. The New York Giants, the phones are open, the door's open. You call me. You make me an offer. I have a 5th and a 7th pick for you. Whoever wants those quarterbacks, come up and get them. Whether it's Malik Willis, Pickens. Now, I'm a believer that Carroll is the most NFL-ready QB in this draft. But he suffered the injury. And you might not have him right away. But in the long run, I believe he's the guy out of these quarterbacks. But you know what? Someone might steal him in the 2nd round or the late 1st round because of his injuries. A team like the Steelers is a very smart organization. And if they're not ready to trade up the basket full of picks and a one next year to come up and get the quarterback, I could see the Steelers sitting pat where they are, hanging out at the spot they're at. And you know what? They brought in Trubisky. They're the ones that could draft Carroll. Okay? They bring him in. They got their QB for the future. He sits out the entire next year behind Trubisky. And they got their future QB if it doesn't work out with Trubisky. I know they have Haskins on their team. Sorry. Haskins didn't work out as an NFL quarterback. A lot of it is on him. He played around. He was immature. It was more important for him to take selfies instead of taking the final snap of a football game. So, look, is Malik Willis a really good kid? Yes, he is. Did he show me a lot with that offer and what he did with the homeless guy at the combines across the street, not knowing that there was video watching him? You know what? That's special, man. That's a special person. That means a lot to me to see that. And believe me, I consider that. And that's why Willis is not a Haskins. Can Willis grow into something in the NFL? Yes, he can. He's athletic. He can move. He's got a big-time arm down the field. But he has work to be done. Okay, his footwork is bad. I don't want to crap on the kid. He seems like a really good guy. He's exciting. He definitely going to bring excitement to some organization and fan base. 100%, man. He's going to have to work on his leg work. He does not step into any of his throws. So, yes, you could throw a 55-yard bomb right on the money when no one's on the field. That's a whole different story when you have NFL defensive tackles and linebackers bearing down on you, on your hips and your legs. All right? It's a whole nother story, man. To step up into a throw with a 300-pound guy coming at you low. It ain't a good feeling, man. Or get a blindsided shot earlier in the game. And can you just throw it out of your mind and continue the rest of the game? Can you tune that out? A lot of times those blind, big-time shots can mess with your head and take you out of your game. Your vision down the field disappears as the game goes on. Because you are now worried where that hit is coming from. You don't know what team you're going to be drafted to. A lot of times these quarterbacks are going to bad teams. That's why they go at the top. Because if a team is bad, they need you. And most likely that bad team doesn't have a solid offensive line right now. Hey, the kid could be good. I believe he's a guy who needs to sit on the bench for a year. He's going to learn. You got to get his footwork, mechanics together. And once he gets that, we already know he has an arm. He has an arm and a half. All that being said, Pickens another guy who looks like he could be good. Another guy I believe would need some time to get better. You're going to need an O-line, you always do. Well, hey, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The New York Giants are not at the point where they're drafting a quarterback. Drafting a quarterback right now would be a total waste. You'll be putting him in a pressured city where the media's foaming at the mouth and the fan bases, they're going to expect winning right away. And you know what? That's not happening. And you're putting him behind an O-line that is not ready. And you're just going to do to the kid what we did to Daniel Jones and what the Jets did to Sam Darnold. So, listen. If you got the trade back at 5, you trade back. You get your picks. I've gone over this before. The biggest key is getting your first rounder next year. If you get another first rounder next year, you got 2 1s. You line yourself up for 3 apparently real deal franchise quarterbacks next year. I've spoken about the kid Van Dyke. The kid's supposed to be so special. That's a real deal, throwback, generational quarterback right there. If you go watch the film, you'll see he commands the field. He's a beast in the pocket. He's big, he's tall, he's got a huge arm. He's deadly accurate. Tiki Barber compared him to be the closest thing modern day to Peyton Manning. Not saying he's Peyton Manning, but just mentioning it as him in that type of direction tells you it's one of the best quarterbacks to come out in years. They're saying since Andrew Luck. That type. You also have Stroud and you have Young from Alabama. I'm not a big fan of Young, but he's definitely there as the top 3. Stroud's supposed to be another real strong, good quarterback. You got 3 quarterbacks and whatever else emerges next year. You get yourself that other first and a trade back if you can. That would be gold. You set yourself up for the quarterback next year. After you build the trenches this year, you complete the O-line. We've added the pieces in the offseason for now. Now you're going to draft, and hopefully you get yourself one of the 3 tackles, and let's not kid ourselves. Do I love Ekwonu? Yes, I'd love to have him. Would I love to have Neal? Yes, I believe Neal will be off the board early. Again, from the sounds of it and the homework that you see the Giants are doing, it sounds like they love Cross. All around, some people believe Cross might be the best. He is the best pass blocker, and he's not a bad run blocker, just needs to work on it a little more. Man, from where we've been the last few years on this garbage can O-line, if you told me we're going to have Thomas and Cross on the bookends, as a fan base, we should be ecstatic. Because that's a beast right there. Okay? Feliciano comes in for center for now. All right. We brought in the guard, Lewinsky from the Colts, who's a strong guard and never misses a game, which is key with the Giants. I mean, the man hasn't missed a game in 4 out of the last 5 seasons. That's all you need to know, just plug him in. And I believe we'll get a guard in the 2nd or 3rd round, probably 2nd round. And you still got Pert and Lemieux that you could work on. They're young kids, and I am by no means giving up on my young kids. Develop. We have a new regime, which I believe is developing, and scouting is a big part of this new regime. Something we have lost in the last regime over the last few years. It was completely missing. And I love what we're seeing. There's a plan. You add on top of it that if the Giants choose to move on from Galladay next year, which is a realistic possibility, he also could have a big year this year with an O-line and Jones, and he stays next year. But if you do move on, you get back almost $19 million. I can't believe it's 18.2. With the $30 million that the NFL is bumping the cap up next year, the Giants will be around the 135 to 140 million ballpark. Now that's before whatever guys we're going to have to pay or sign. But the Giants are going to have a load of money. They're probably number 1 in the league under the cap next year. It's a beautiful thing to look forward to. We're going to be a major factor in free agency. Again, you don't have to go nuts, but we'll be able to get some real pieces, a couple. By then, we'll have a lot more of the puzzle together and know what big pieces we need to get. Another draft, of course. Man, if you think I'm not rooting for Daniel Jones to emerge as the guy we all thought he could be, I am. I have a Daniel Jones jersey. I love the kid. He's a good kid. He's busting his ass. He's working out hard. But if they don't pick up his 5th-year option, which they're probably not going to, they brought in Taylor, a guy who could step into him at some point if he's not performing. They've prepared themselves to move on, guys. The writing's on the wall. Jones has to have a real serious football year and more importantly, something he hasn't been able to do, a full healthy year, and lead this team to a competitive season to come back the following year, because this regime is clearly preparing themselves in a way where they're going to draft a QB in 2023. But we're not there yet. As for the draft, if there's no trade back like we went over last night on the Blue Cruise stream, I want the tackle at 5. I don't care which one it is. If it's Cross, they're in love with him, grab him at 5. I'm good with it. I want him at 5. Personally, I'd like the edge. If Thibodeau's there at 5, he's going to be there at 7. So I would take him at 7. That's personally myself. And if it wasn't him, the second edge I've now caught on to, because my guy was a jobber and he got injured. So he's going to drop it to the 2nd or 3rd round, and someone's going to steal themselves a beast right there for down the road. Jermaine Johnson. If I can't have my other edge that I'd love to have is Jermaine Johnson. He hasn't had a lot of playing time. But boy, does he got the body and the makings of some beast off the edge. He's got a motor. He's athletic, long arms. He's very strong. And he's the type of guy that will actually get stronger and better over the next few years. If you're a young team that's growing, it's perfect. So his first year might not be the greatest. But by his 3rd year, you might have one of the more dominant edges in the league. And that's how I look at that kid, and I'm good with it. That's what I want. It's important we get the tackle at 5. Whether it's Ekwonu, Neil Cross. I'm assuming Neil ain't getting near there. So there's a shot at Ekwonu and there's a real good shot at Cross. But look, if you're asking me from what I'm reading and the things we're hearing, forget about the type of draft I or you want. I'm going to tell you right now today, and things can change because we got a couple of weeks, right? Right now, it's pretty clear. Joe Shane and his Giants bunch is in love with Cross. So I think Cross is the guy they're going to take at 5 or 7. There is a danger Carolina wants to tackle. I think they're going to need a quarterback more than anything. So a lot of this stuff could be smoke. But the two names that the Giants clearly are head over heels with right now are Cross and Sauce. And Bradbury will be traded. We will get some type of pick for him. So, in the wink defense, Sauce is so realistic. And believe me, I'm not in love with the corner. It's grown on me now because I'm starting to accept that. That's probably most likely a way they're going. It just seems real. It's growing stronger and stronger. They're at the pro day today. They took him out for dinner last night. They met with him privately. I mean, these are things. It's just all set up right there. The kid's a special corner. Those two names right now are at the top of the list, and we could easily end up with those two names right there. You could go Sauce at 5 if the Jets let him go past 4, because the Jets are probably interested and need a corner also right now. If Sauce gets by the Jets at 4, I think the Giants go the tackle at 5. Most likely it'll be Cross. And then they're pretty confident that Sauce will be there at 7. And they take Sauce Gardner, the cornerback. Those will be your top 2 picks. And then what they do from there could go guard at 36. I heard there's a chance you could package that up with a trade. Maybe they see something they love in the mid-20s and try to move back up again. It's all game from there. Honestly, I'd go guard at 36. And then we see where we go from there. But if we didn't get an edge in the top 2 picks, they might go edge at 36. It's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to the draft. Look, Barkley. Here's my thoughts on Barkley, man. I love Barkley. We all wanted the Giants to be a winner with Barkley being the face of the team. We all wanted that. We got to come to the realization. The Giants 1,000% on not paying Barkley. He's not their guy. They didn't draft him. He's had injuries, which is the biggest reason why. Can he come back and have a good year behind a solid O-line? He can. Is he going to be the all-world running back he was supposed to be? Most likely not. The Giants are not paying him next year. You guys got to get this in your brain. The Giants are not paying Barkley next year. And at the end of next year, he's going to sit out and demand his $14, $15 million a year. It's not happening. All right? The past regime would have hung on to him until it was too late. And then they would have lost him for nothing. 0. This regime's smarter than that. And they ain't got no ties to anybody here. I love the guy. And even me as a diehard fan who really wants him to be the beast he was and the face of the franchise knows you have to trade Barkley now. Get the best pick you could get for the kid and move on. Ideally, a 3rd round pick probably fits Barkley right now. Because it ain't the Barkley of 3 years ago. You're not getting a 1. Stop dreaming. Teams are not even offering close to that. And you're not getting a 2 probably. If you could get a 3 and maybe something later like a 6, maybe. Or maybe you're just going to get a 3. Take it and move on. Let him go play for a winner or somewhere. Like I know Buffalo's interested. You got connections with the Bills, Joe Shane. Call him up. Here's your final piece to your Super Bowl team. Put Barkley in your backfield along with the other kid they have, Stingley. And you know what? Give us your third round pick. If you could try to get that second, because it'll probably be a late second. I'm assuming the Bills are making a run to a Super Bowl next year. Or whatever you could get out of the 2 or 3. You take it, you move on. The contract that's looming, that's their problem. We get out of the contract problems. We get ourselves another pick. We should be getting another pick for Bradbury. And you are loaded up in this draft to stack your line, get an edge rusher, go get a linebacker. You're going to get a real pretty solid tight end. And I'd love to have that running back from Michigan, Walker, because he's a bull. And I want to go back to the old days with the running back that runs over people. You got Breida. He's a cutter. He's fast. Now go get the bull from Michigan if he's there. Walker in the 3rd round if he's there. If not, there's a few others. I know Cook is there. He'll probably go early. I know Haskins. I would like the kid Walker. I'd like to have the bull to go with the little fast guy. The 1-2 punch. You get yourself your tight end. Now you're starting to put together a real team. And we're not even talking about this year. We're putting together a team where the second part of the team will come next year's draft along with a big free agency. And that's what I want. So, yo, I love you, Barkley. Business is business. You guys out there got to stop this loyalty and this love affair with certain names on this team. Because here's the thing. We didn't win with them. And we aren't going to win with them. We're going in a new direction. We're building a new young team. There's going to be new young names that are going to be here for a while out of these drafts. And you're going to love them. And you're going to go get their jerseys. That was the old. Hey. You get a 3rd for Barkley now. Or you run into a lot of trouble with him at the end of next year. We're not paying him, and he's not going to step on the field. Which means you're going to, as a Giants team, we're going to be a loser. We can't be a loser anymore. You got to be proactive. The days of reacting are over. This is a young, hungry regime, and they know what they're doing. Get behind it. Whatever they do, it's their plan. And as fans, you just got to back the team up. It is what it is. I'm looking forward to the draft. We got a few more weeks. A lot of these stories could be smoked, but boy, they're fun. I'm the Miz. And I love talking football with you guys in the midday.